Rocky Mountain Prep. Welcome to Rigor and Love. This is our first video edition, so excited to be coming to you from Fletcher. And we're going to continue talking about perseverance this week. One, because it is my favorite of our peak values. And two, when I think about what we do every day as the grown-ups in the building to try to get it right for every single kid, I believe that perseverance is actually the most important value when we're talking about what it means to reach for and achieve big goals for all of our kiddos and families. And I am really honored to be joined by Liz here today.
I'm glad that you're here because I'm always excited to talk about the work that Fletcher is doing. I'm so proud of our kids and our teachers and just everything that's happening here. So I can brag about everything that's happening here till the end of time.
Well, I love that. That's what this is all about. So you are actually free to brag about whatever you want.
Brag about the people here all day long.
So I like that you shared that you've been here for 6 years, because last week too, when we talked to Alyssa, she had been there for 8 years.
Yeah.
And so I think that's always valuable to see the perspective, to see the changes and the iterations. So I want you to be as blunt as you feel comfortable with being. We encourage that here. So what was the reading culture like here at Fletcher before we embarked on this network-wide focus of millionaires? Or if you had to describe it, maybe, 2018, 2019, how would you describe it?
Yeah, I think so. Before Trisha, before the merger,
BT.
It was BT. It was, I would say, like, independent reading it wasn't non-existent. It was probably like a nice to have. It was if you finished your work early, if, you were in that rotation in our guided reading block. And we definitely we had a lot of readers, but it was not a must have. And I feel like that's the shift. It was a nice to have. And now it's a must have. And I'm sure you'll ask, but I have so much to talk about, like just the growth that our kids have had with their reading. And then I would say, if we're being honest, when you rolled out those big five and it was, that's a lot of words. And so I think it was like we had to have a mindset shift because we had gone from just like, we didn't want reading to feel like a chore. And so we thought, is this going to make it feel like that? Also, we know our data and we know we have a lot of students who don't read at grade level. We were worried, like, is this going to make them feel defeated? And so I think there was a lot of apprehension. And then when I think about last year, we were not fully like bought in, and I don't know if we fully believed that we could do it. And that's why it feels so great now that we're meeting the goal, because we know that we're doing it and our kids are feeling the wins and our teachers are feeling the wins. So it really has been a journey, but I feel like we're in a really great place.
I love that you just said we didn't fully believe that we could do it last year, because I think one of the most common misconceptions, particularly with our value of perseverance, I think sometimes folks means you feel 100% confident all the time, and that the first time you see a goal, you're like, yeah, nailed it. And you are someone completely aligned with our values. And you said, we weren't all the way invested last year. I think that's very important, especially for everyone out there in RMP land to hear. So when you say that, what do you think held you all as a team back last year from like going all the way in the way that you actually have this year? What would you say was the difference?
I think it was new, and new is hard. Change is hard. And so I think last year, and I'll speak for myself, it felt like one more thing, not the thing.
Yeah.
So it felt like you want to do this and we have to have the kids read 1 million words pieces. But I think overall, the difference maker is that this year we're bought in, and last year we were just like, oh, what's happening?
Yeah. Oh, that's a perfect description.
Yeah.
I love that you talked about, it went from being optional to being like, kids need to do this. And it sounds like you got a lot of positive reception from both students and families. How did you get your teachers on board?
And our teachers love our kids deeply. And I think as soon as our teachers started seeing kids be just their eyes light up, talking about how proud they were that they've already beat how many words they were at last year, like everyone wants to win, and teachers right now are winning in this goal, and they're seeing the impact. Like, we have kids who are in intervention, kids with IEPs who are on track to meet the goal, and just the joy in these kids' faces when they tell you their word count and how they're already working on their February goal, and they already know they've got the January goal. It's just like, it feels so good, and the teachers can be so proud of the work that their kids are doing and the work that they're doing. We also, we do have a teacher millionaire prize also. If the class meets the goal, we've got our millionaire prize posters too.
They're everywhere in the school, by the way.
They
I love
are
that.
everywhere. And yeah, I just think of, so like Miss Pates in 5th grade, she's the math teacher, but she cares deeply about this goal. And she had never read a Goosebumps book and told the kids that. And she was like, we're going to read one together. And so then all the kids are so bought in, and they're like, we're all reading a Goosebumps book together. And again, like the specials teachers contribute to this. They run a book club. We found more time in the day to contribute. It's just like, it truly is, everyone is on board. And shout out to Lower L, because they are also out there grinding and getting kids to read. And Emily's running a lot of great systems in Lower L. So it really is just building just the momentum, and the teachers are seeing that and seeing our kids win, which just feels motivating.
You talked about very, like, a lot of kid pride and a lot of transparency with kids about where they're at. And I know particularly for folks who they've not tracked that way with students before, or they haven't been that transparent about data, that can sound very intimidating, and that can sound scary. And often the question I hear is, well, doesn't that make kids feel bad? So if you could talk a little bit more about how you do the student level tracking here, and you work with 3rd through 5th graders. So what has been their response to that, and how have you seen that change the culture here?
And I think in terms of tracking, I love that on the platform, they can see exactly how many words they're at. They don't have to click on a million things to see it, and they see their little like rocket ship moving along. So it's very easy for kids to know their word count. It's not something that they have to ask their teacher. They can log in and see it themselves. And then our teachers just have so many great trackers. Miss Gallion has one up that like the line moves as the on track line moves. And so kids can see like, okay, well, I'm not there yet, but I just read this book, and now like any kind of tracker, the visual just helps so much. And then our teachers are just working so hard to check in with kids of like, here is a book that will get you 20,000 words, and then you'll be at this. Then let's like one book at a time. The same way with any goal, it really is just one book at a time. And the kids who are not on track are still motivated to keep reading. Our mild, mod, and intervention teams also have goals for their students, which are also motivating them to keep going. Even if they're not on track, they're reading more than they ever have before. Yeah. So it's just a lot of little things, and there's those check-ins constantly. And I will say, like, Renaissance is a very user-friendly platform.
It really is.
In terms of checking the word count. So I just pull it up all the time, and kids want to know, and they want to walk by and tell you their word count.
Something you said just really struck me, which is they want to know. Kids want to know. It could be easy. I was a middle school teacher, and I'm envisioning if I am a middle school teacher out there right now watching us talk, I might be thinking, well, yeah, that's little kids, right? They're just, naturally like that. And so what would you say potentially to the middle or high school teacher who is thinking about this and saying, I don't know that my kids want to know where they're at. I think that would be very deflating for them, or I think that would be very unmotivating. What would your response to that be?
Well, first of all, shout out to middle school and high school teachers, because I could never. My cornball
you could.
I was designed for elementary school, and I taught 6th grade one year, and it was, oh my goodness. So they are doing great work. It's finding what will motivate kids, and one, they want to feel successful, and we like, where the goal is not to bribe kids, the goal is to celebrate them, but it's not to bribe them, but you do have to find the things that they're interested in. So our 5th grade teacher, Miss Kylie, gave me feedback. She was like, Liz, nobody wanted to do that fall break challenge because you had like lame prizes. And it was like, and for 5th graders, and all our 5th graders want right now is chicken nuggets. That is all they want. They do.
I don't blame
them. They
them.
want Chick-fil-A chicken nuggets. So I was like, great, we'll get chicken nuggets. So it's like, it's finding what they're interested in, but also having that one-on-one conversation and just pulling them aside and showing like, this is where you are at. I know that you can get to this word count. What book are you reading right now? Great. Come talk to me as soon as you're done. I want to see when you show me the quiz. Like, it is the follow through of like, okay, great. You got Dork Diaries. I'm writing down that you are reading Dork Diaries right now. Come tell me when you're done and I'll get you the next one. Mm-hmm. Again, like series challenges. Miss Gallion and Miss Madriz have series challenges where they get a little crown and a little badge when they finish a series.
I love that.
And there's just so many, I feel like the quality of books for kids has really improved in the past 10 years. So I just think finding the books that interest them. I don't want to read a book that I'm not into. I will put it down. Yeah. So finding the books and just really asking kids what they want. What books do you like reading? Let's try this one.
Yeah, you just modeled Rigor and Love. Because when you were actually, and thank you for that really good model. You should take it. When you just modeled the conversation that you have with kids, what you modeled was rigor. I have an expectation. It is high, and I know you can meet it.
Yeah.
With love, which is I have a relationship with you. I care about you, and I care to know enough about you to know what might be motivating or what might really tick for you. And so thank you for modeling that. Yeah. It comes so naturally to you. You probably didn't even realize that that's what you were doing, but that is what Rigor and Love is. And it is... the foundation of that is deep love and respect for our children. I want you to brag.
Oh.
What percentage of 3rd through 5th graders were on track to be a millionaire at this same time last year?
Okay.
And you can do a roundabout.
It's December. I want to say we were about overall probably 7 or 8%.
So 7 or 8%. Now everyone holds on to your chairs. What percentage on track to be millionaires are you all right now?
Okay, right now we got a few more kids that they're going to get there by the end of the week, but right now we're at 49%. So making great progress.
Stop. Because
kids are
I want everyone to hear that. 7% to 49% in the span of 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
If you had to boil it down, because now you have a bunch of folks out there, their interest immediately got piqued when we said that, 7 to 49%. If you had to boil it down to the 3 most important things, because if I'm an API right now out of school and we've got 2% on track, I'm listening to you and I'm like, she said 10,000 great things, but like, I don't know what to do first. I don't know how to prioritize this. So if you had to boil it down to the 3 foundational things you've got to do to not just win on this goal, but to get kids excited, passionate about, and all the way into reading, like what would you boil it down to?
Nice. Okay. I would say number 1 is it is everyone's goal. Everyone is bought in, even though 1st grade and 2nd grade are not technically part of it. They're building up to it. The special teachers are bought in. Every single teacher knows the goal and knows how they can contribute to the goal. And then number 2 is the kids know their word count.
Yep.
And number 3 is the teacher checks in with the kids about their words. The knowing your word count is so crucial, and I really thought we were in a better place with it than we were, honestly.
Yeah.
And I still am surprised sometimes when I see kids, I'm like, what are we doing? You don't know your word. Let's pull it up right now and let's look at it.
Yeah.
You need to know it, and you need to know what the goal is.
What really comes across to me is your deep faith and belief in kids and the teachers that you coach.
Yes.
And that's sometimes hard to do. I would imagine when you were staring at that 7% last year, it was not a thought in your brain of we can get to 40. You might have just been saying, I would actually like to stop this right now.
We were stuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were stuck.
I would like to not do this.
Yeah.
So you now have the microphone, literally. And yeah, you do. And right now you're talking to people, in some cases, who are at exactly where you were at. What would you have needed to hear in that moment that would have helped turn the tide quicker? I mean, you turned the tide, so it was fine. But what would you have wanted to hear in that moment to help give you the ganas, the perseverance to keep going?
Honestly, I'm a very practical, so I needed examples. So it was asking Grace at Creekside. Creekside, we're always coming for you. It was, what are you actually doing?
Right.
What is happening? And then what is happening on the day-to-day basis? What are your incentives? What are your trackers looking like? I needed specific examples, and even work over the summer, like collaboration, just working with other APs who are owning this goal so that we can see and just share ideas, because we were stuck. And I was
Right.
I don't understand how people are meeting this goal. So just going back to basics, y'all can email me and, whatever. I don't know how many great ideas I have, but just sharing ideas and getting concrete examples of what is actually happening on the day to day, how to get families invested, how to get kids invested. And again, I have amazing teachers and we have amazing, amazing children here who are working so hard. But sometimes, you just need to share new ideas and get some fresh ideas going.
Yeah. So the power of community, and particularly as a 12 school community now, there's a lot of people we can talk to. Yeah, a lot of really wonderful ideas that, definitely when you're sort of stuck in your corner of the world, you do get frustrated and you think about, well, I've tried this every way I know how.
Yeah.
I want to see something different.
Yes.
So I love that. What you've done here is what I want to see at every single school. Because listen, I love you, Creekside. I love the schools that killing it.
Crushing it.
Right. Always. But it's actually really hard to do what you did. And to take a school where you could have used the demographics of your kids as an excuse to not do that. And you actually did the opposite. And you ran towards the challenge. So thank you. Yes. Thank you on behalf of all these kiddos and families. And
our kids can do anything.
They can. Yes. They really can. And it's amazing what happens when the grown-ups get it right.
Yes.
I make sure I ask everybody this question. What are you reading? And if you're reading, if like me, you read things that you might not want to recommend on camera, you don't have to. But if there is a great book you're reading or have read, I'd love for you to share it.
Okay, so I recently finally discovered Goodreads, which I can't believe I was not on there before.
I can't believe you weren't on there either.
Oh my! It is such wow. I'm such a nerd with it sometimes. Okay, so I just finished Marlowe Murder Club, which I did not love, but so I don't like scary things. If I want to be scared, I will just think about the state of the world. Yeah. So I like a good, so my friend told me oh, you like cozy thrillers. And I was like, is that a genre? And
cozy thriller?
In fact, it is a genre. You can Google it and type in best cozy thrillers. And so they're mysteries that, it might be a murder mystery, but it's not going to give you nightmares. So if you want a good one, Thursday Murder Club was really good. It's about old British people in a retirement home solving murders.
What?
And it's just so cute and it's so endearing. And then I just started Sea of Tranquility, but I just started it, so I can't vouch for it yet. But cozy thrillers are my go-to. Yeah.
My gosh, I love this show for a variety of reasons. But one of the most important ones is I feel like every person I talk to, I walk away with lots of things I want to do.
Listen,
so Cozy Thriller.
Yes, and they're so cute.
That also sounds like a band name.
Yes.
Maybe if I had a band.
Cozy Thriller.
I would be the Cozy Thrillers.
Yeah. That's a good band name.
And what are you watching on TV right now? I know some people are like, I don't watch TV, but if it's particularly cringeworthy, I love to hear about it.
Okay, so there's not a lot of new stuff out right now,
it's
but
true.
My husband and I are not rewatching, but it's 10 years old. The Leftovers. Did you watch that?
Oh yes,
2014 or 13.
A vintage pick. I love it.
But I love it. The first season's a little slow, but very good.
No, it's really good.
Yeah.
And Liz, if people are inspired by this story, which they will be. I'm just going to warn you.
I don't know.
And they want to see more about what you did here, or want resources, or what's the best way to reach you? And, is there things that you feel like I would be really well positioned to share?
Yeah. Email me. eBeard or eStewart, the alias thing. Just reach out with anything. Come visit Fletcher anytime. it's an amazing place. Email me any questions. I can share any of our plans, trackers, any of it.
And just for perspective, because, we've got a lot of new schools in the network and they may not know, can you just give the quick demographics on Fletcher? So are you guys a Title I school? What's your breakdown? And what percentage of special education students and multi-language learners do you serve?
Yes. Okay. Ooh, if I get this wrong, Daniela is going to be like, Liz.
It's really okay.
I want to say we're 65% MLLs,
65%.
It might be 70%.
Yeah.
And then about 20% African American, 10% white. We have our IEP population is about 30% students with IEPs, and we've gotten a lot of newcomers lately from Central America. So we're just working on serving them the best that we can. It is sitting heavy on my heart because I feel like we really need to do more to serve them. But that's what. Did you ask something else?
And are you a Title I school?
Oh, and we are a Title I school. Yes, we are.
So the reason I wanted to end on that note is because what I don't want anyone to walk away from this conversation thinking is, well, that's a legacy R&P school, and they don't serve the same kids, and you do. Yeah. In many cases, you actually serve more of them here. Yeah. And so I also want people to understand that what you're doing here is universal. Yeah. Just it works for any kid or school, and so feel free to reach out to Liz to talk about the honor and the privilege of serving those students and helping those students reach the goal too, because I can tell you they're all here at Fletcher working towards it. Yeah. And I just want to encourage everyone there out in RMP land to actually come to Fletcher. Yeah. Because seeing the visual culture, seeing the goals, and actually talking to kids will make a believer out of anybody. Thank you. Thank you for sharing your wisdom and your brilliance with us. Oh. Thank you for being personally inspirational to me, and now I know very inspirational to our 600 closest friends. And please just keep on keeping on the incredible work that you're doing here at Fletcher. Thank you. And we're going to keep cheering you on.
Thank you.
Thanks.